Old man Woody likes the crooked cock.
I gotta imagine it's not quite so lenient, maybe with exotic cars when you're talking about a vehicle worth $200,000-$300,000.
That is very sensitive to miles. So it's, in most cases, yeah, they notice the miles on stock in, and if it varies a great deal, there needs to be a good reason. Now, we did a lot of events, so I spent a lot of time driving the cars, and I was actually talking to somebody today. I was like, the novelty of driving someone else's interesting car gets lost on you pretty fast because you're kind of incurring a lot of risk, not only with potentially money, but with whatever the relationship capital is there. It's just not really worth it. But we definitely had guys take them home, and we had a guy crash in Orange Murcielago, spun it around and hit something, leaving a gas station on his way back in because, you mentioned you had to go put gas in the car to sell it because every dealership leaves all the cars that are on the showroom floor or on the lot empty because obviously you'd have a tremendous amount of dollars tied up in gasoline if you fill them all up, but you can't sell one empty, but you could sell one on 7/8. And so you would save money by filling them up at the beginning, and you would decrease the times that cars have to go to the gas station, which is a great place to get them stolen, have them catch on fire sometimes with exotics, or, just get hit because it's just low speed, lots of different moving directions. And so it's a really stupid practice, but it's one of those things that's just old school car business. It's how we always did it.
Yeah.
So the magic of driving awesome cars is kind of gone. Like if you had to go somewhere for 3 hours away and I said, here's a McLaren, it's not even the one you want.
Well, if it was a McLaren, I would be concerned that I would make it. But I mean, it's cool, and I still love cars, absolutely. But for me, at this point, it's a lot more about the pride of ownership, of what that means, of eventually selling it, making money, stuff like that. The novelty of driving a car that's not mine doesn't mean I don't love great cars. I want to buy all the great cars, but it's just you just take on so much risk that just usually isn't worth it.
I didn't like it. I didn't have the experience that you had, nothing like that. But like, if a Viper needed to get moved, I don't want to fucking ding this. Like it needs to be pulled through the double doors into the showroom. I don't want to do this. I don't know how stiff that clutch is. This is my first time driving a Viper. This is not good.
Yeah.
This
How much is a Viper?
It was a used
like
Viper.
$100,000.
So this one,
130, 40 new, and
yeah.
used anywhere from 30 to 150 grand.
Okay, still
$60,000-$70,000 car. But the real thing is, it's a rocket ship that I'm trying to move into a showroom full of people at 2 miles per hour.
So you're just idling the whole way in.
Might be hard.
It's really, really stiff clutch. It's and I've never been in this motherfucker before. It's terrifying. We had a Ford GT. There aren't many of those things. I don't remember what the thing. Maybe it was $150,000 or like we were definitely charging over sticker for the thing. Like there was probably like a $40,000-$50,000 premium on the thing, and that thing needed moving into the showroom. And I'm like, I would love to just take it for a spin around the parking lot, but I'm not pulling it through those fucking double doors. There's no fucking way. And they let me. They let me go for circle around the parking lot. And I got the fuck out of that thing and said, all right, boss. You can put it through those double doors, though. There's no fucking way I'm driving a house through those double doors that's 38 inches off the ground or whatever the roof is on that thing.
Yeah, those were a little bit higher than 40 inches, but not quite. That's the thing is when you park a car in a showroom, there's no clearance, and it's impossible to do it by yourself. And so when you're having to park expensive cars, the person who is pointing and telling you what to do is responsible if you crash. And so that's the way we had to do it because we were parking, $500,000-$600,000 cars inches from each other. And if you can steer a car a lot better not being in it, as long as you tell the person exactly how to do so. But the point that the person in the car stops listening to you, you just throw up your hands and say, you're on your own. But if you do listen and you hit something, then it's the pointer's fault.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know how to guide. Like I grew up doing that a ton. Like whether it was hooking trailers up to trucks or whatever, and like they don't know the proper hand. I like to get this when I'm backing up to something. I like this a lot, and people don't understand this. And I've seen people do this. I'm like, whoa, I'm not moving that fast. You just went from 2 feet to 8 inches.
You want to go from here to here?
My wife is guide-tarded, right? All the hand motions are like. I'm not getting any of this. Yeah, right. Like I don't, or like I don't even know which one that was.
Oh, the ridiculous steering wheel mime.
Yes, yeah.
You wouldn't want to say go to the right when you can go. like that.
Yeah, and which one? I'm not even sure if this is right. It's awful edit.
I liked your story about the PCP guy. Would you tell that story because that one to me was
I don't know this one.
Yeah, and also Taylor didn't watch this one. I enjoyed that story.
So when stated income loans were a thing, and it was like 2007, I was in college and I needed a big place to store the cars, and I was this close to buying Terrell Owens' house. He was selling it, and it had also been on MTV Cribs, and it was for sale just in East Atlanta. It was a good drive to Georgia Tech, and I was like, this makes all the sense in the world. Why are we all paying so much rent? And I was going to have like 15 roommates there, and I just narrowly avoided not doing that, thinking like this is going to be the greatest financial decision I ever made. And it sold like 3 or 4 years later for half of what I was going to have to pay for it back then. But instead of that, we ended up living in the west side of Atlanta, which used to be known as just a great place to go and get stabbed. Mm-hmm. It was in this huge duplex where each side had like 6 bedrooms and 2 kitchens. And we were on one side, me and a bunch of my roommates and intramural teammates and stuff like that. And we were out for spring break, but there had always been this Saturn parked, like in the best parking spot. There was a big open area that we could all park in, and it never moved. It was disgusting, just covered in tree sap and everything else. And we kept asking the landlord to move it. He kept saying he would, but he never did. And we were just like, come on, get it out of here. And one day we all got, motivated, and we just started just breaking stuff on the car. And nobody really cared. It sat like that for forever. And every time you'd walk by, you just break something else off, break the mirror off, break a window. It's just the punching bag for when you were frustrated with college life. And so we did that for a very long time, and nobody really cared. But when I was gone on spring break, I got a call from one of my roommates that was still there, and he's like, man, you will not believe what happened last night. And so apparently a guy that lived on the other side that we never saw or interacted with had come in, and it had been his car. I don't know how it took him months to figure out that his car was not in the condition he left it in. And maybe the tags were 3 years expired. And they, and another
that was an investment vehicle. That's what you're not understanding.
Those dent-resistant panels didn't do so much dent resisting. But he was yelling, banging on the door, I've got a gun and I'm going to kill you. And, the only thing that they had there to defend themselves with was a intramural softball bat, but they were fully prepared to kill him back he came through our little plastic door on this cheap duplex, and he couldn't get the door open. So he decided to throw our grill through the window, and it made it enough to break the window and then kind of fall back on him. And he cut himself on the glass, kind of trying to climb through, and gave up on that and proceeded to bleed all over the few cars that were still left. So we came back, and the whole parking lot and the whole my girlfriend at the time, my wife now's Mustang, was covered in blood. And the cops came, obviously, and arrested him. And they said it was PCP that he was on, and he was feeling none of the pain. But
he went around and was just intentionally
bled on everything,
bleeding on the cars. That was the only.
That's alpha as fuck,
right?
Yeah.
From Fight Club.
Yeah. We had a guy that used to detail cars at Lamborghini Atlanta, and he might at one point have stolen a Aston Martin from inventory and then magically found it like a couple days later when he realized he couldn't do anything with it. But he was actually working. I ran into him at a gas station they built right around the corner. And he was running security. He had this huge gun on him and everything. And I said, you know what? I was going to dinner somewhere in that area. I said, I used to live right down the street. And he looked at me like, what do you mean? You lived here? Because I guess it's even gotten worse now. Yeah. But it's a proper, terrible place to live.
Yeah. There's some sketchy parts of Atlanta for sure.
Yeah.
North side and south side and east. North, south, and east are all pretty good. I like East Point a lot, but west side of Atlanta can be a little rough.
That's right. But good memories, good stories occasionally.
That wasn't the only excluder that you
have to say that about your childhood city. When it's like, oh, St. Louis is great. Just don't go north. Right. Oh, definitely don't go east. South can be iffy. Be careful.
That's right.
Actually, where we're standing right now, while we are technically surrounded, fairly safe.
It's a good spot.
Don't move. No, don't go over there. Don't go over there. No, that gas station. No good. We're safe right here.
I ended on that note. I love the wordplay.
That was the best shit I've ever heard.